History is repeating itself, and almost no one recognizes the warning signs. 5 centuries of financial history whisper one truth to us now. Every dominant currency eventually faces its inevitable, brutal reckoning. The Spanish Empire's silver flooded the world, creating immense power. But that same silver led to catastrophic price explosions internally. The price revolution shattered the Spanish economy from within. Wealth became an illusion, purchased with mountains of cheap metal. Then, the Dutch invented the modern stock market and bank. The guilder became the world's first true reserve currency. Tulip bulbs became more valuable than Amsterdam townhouses. Irrational exuberance always accompanies peak financial dominance. The bubble burst, wiping out fortunes in a single day. The Dutch Golden Age's foundation was permanently cracked. Next, France's John Law promised prosperity from paper money. The Mississippi Company promised limitless New World wealth. Parisian streets flooded with frantic, desperate speculators. The paper money system collapsed into worthless confetti. Wealth evaporated faster than morning fog on the Seine. Then, the British pound sterling took its throne. Backed by gold, it promised eternal, unshakable stability. The British Empire built a global financial network, but 2 world wars fractured the gold standard's foundation. The cost of empire drained its golden lifeblood away. In 1944, a new king was crowned at Bretton Woods. The US dollar was anointed the world's new reserve currency. It was a promise, backed by the world's largest gold hoard. For decades, this system brought unprecedented global growth, but then a fatal decision was made in secret. In 1971, the dollar was untethered from gold forever. Nixon closed the gold window, shattering the old promise. The world entered the era of pure fiat money. Currency was now just paper, backed by nothing but trust. The petrodollar was born, a new hidden pact. Oil would be sold exclusively for US dollars globally. This created limitless demand for the greenback overseas. America could now print its way to prosperity. Debt became the new foundation of the global economy. Consumerism exploded on a tide of cheap credit. Wall Street became the new temple of this faith. Bankers were the high priests of this new religion. The Great Moderation promised an end to boom and bust, but all illusions shatter upon the rocks of reality. In 2008, the subprime crisis exposed the fragile core. The housing market, built on sand, collapsed catastrophically. Lehman Brothers fell, a modern financial dinosaur extinct. The system was moments from total, irreversible collapse. Central banks responded with a tidal wave of money. Quantitative easing became the new magic trick. They printed trillions, saving the system from itself. The rich got vastly richer while the middle class struggled. The seeds of today's discontent were sown then. The can was kicked down the road, but the road ends. A new invisible crisis began brewing in the shadows. Global debt mountains reached utterly unsustainable levels. Then, a pandemic froze the global economy solid. The response was to print money on a cosmic scale. Stimulus checks were a life raft for a sinking ship. But that life raft was also made of printed paper. Inflation, the silent thief, was now awakened. Prices began to rise, slowly at first, then violently. The Federal Reserve was trapped by its own creation. Raise rates to kill inflation and crash the economy. Keep rates low and let inflation devour everything. This is the same dilemma that broke every empire. Meanwhile, the world began to question the dollar's hegemony. BRICS nations started building alternative financial systems. China promoted the yuan in international trade deals. Russia began selling its oil for currencies other than dollars. The petrodollar monopoly shows its first major cracks. The weaponization of the dollar accelerated this shift. Nations saw the risk of relying on a rival's currency. Gold began flowing east, from west to east. Central banks globally are now buying gold at record pace. This is the oldest signal of declining faith in paper. The U.S. national debt is a ticking time bomb. Unfunded liabilities loom like a colossal, unseen iceberg. Political polarization makes fiscal solutions nearly impossible. The system is trapped in a self-destructive feedback loop. Every attempt to fix it only makes the problem worse. This is the terminal phase of the 500-year cycle. But within every crisis, a new system is born. In 2009, a mysterious paper introduced Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, trustless and decentralized. Its foundation was cryptographic proof, not human promise. The supply was mathematically limited, unlike fiat money. It was digital gold, born from the ashes of 2008. At first, it was ignored, then ridiculed as a toy, but the network grew, resilient and unstoppable. It survived every attempt to kill it, growing stronger. The 2017 boom introduced the world to cryptomania. FOMO gripped a generation, creating millionaires overnight. The inevitable bust came, washing away the weak hands. But the core technology, the blockchain, proved durable. Institutions began to see its value slowly at first. The narrative shifted from criminal toy to digital asset. Fidelity, BlackRock, and other giants started building infrastructure. The spot. Bitcoin ETF was the ultimate legitimization. It opened the floodgates of institutional capital. Bitcoin became a hedge against the very system it challenged. Nations like El Salvador adopted it as legal tender, a small, defiant act against the global financial order. The Lightning Network promised instant, nearly free transactions. This solved Bitcoin's scalability, its greatest weakness. Meanwhile, central bank digital currencies began emerging. CBDCs are the antithesis of Bitcoin, centralized control. They offer programmable money with expiration dates and the power to turn your money on or off. This is the ultimate financial panopticon, a digital prison. The battle for the future of money has two sides. On one side, absolute state control over every transaction. On the other, individual sovereignty and financial freedom. This is the great monetary schism of our age. The coming reset will force every person to choose a side. Will you choose the digital dollar controlled by the Fed or a decentralized network open to all, controlled by none? Your choice will define your financial freedom for decades. History shows that closed systems always eventually fail. Open, resilient networks tend to adapt and survive. The internet itself is a testament to this model. No single entity can shut down the Bitcoin network. It is the most resilient financial network ever built. Run on sunlight, it is accessible to anyone, anywhere. This is a profound shift in human organization. We are moving from top-down hierarchies to peer-to-peer networks. Money is simply the first and most important application. The same pattern will reshape governance and identity, but the transition will not be smooth or peaceful. The old system will fight to retain its power. Regulation, censorship, and fear will be their weapons. They will call decentralization a threat to national security. They will say it enables criminals and terrorists. They will ignore its benefits for billions of unbanked. This is the same playbook used against every disruption. The printing press, the internet, and now Bitcoin. But you cannot uninvent a truly transformative idea. The genie of decentralization is out of the bottle. Nation-states will eventually be forced to adopt it. They will try to co-opt it, to control it. But its core design resists all forms of capture. This is the great irony of the coming reset. The system's response to crisis births its own replacement. 2008's bailouts created the demand for Bitcoin. Today's money printing is creating its next wave of adoption. The more they print, the more valuable hard money becomes. This is not a prediction. It is a recurring pattern. We have seen this story play out 5 times before. The characters change, but the plot remains identical. Debt, devaluation, decline, then a new dominant money. We are now in the devaluation and decline phase. The next phase is the birth of the new system. This reset will be the most significant in 500 years. It will merge monetary technology with the digital age. The internet finally has its native global currency. This is bigger than any single country or central bank. It is a fundamental upgrade to the operating system of civilization. So, what does this mean for you right now? First, understand that your cash is losing value daily. The silent tax of inflation is eroding your savings. Traditional bonds are no longer a safe haven. The 60/40 portfolio is a relic of a dead era. You must look outside the existing system for safety. Gold is the ancient safe harbor, the proven store of value. Bitcoin is its digital successor. With greater portability, diversification is no longer about different stocks. It is about owning different types of monetary goods. Productive assets, like land and companies, create value. Hard assets, like gold, preserve value across time. Digital assets, like Bitcoin, represent the new paradigm. A balanced portfolio must now contain all three. Ignoring this shift is a greater risk than embracing it. The greatest wealth transfers happen during resets. Those who see the pattern early are rewarded immensely. Those who cling to the past are left with worthless paper. This is not about getting rich, it's about staying rich. It's about preserving your labor and your family's future. The time for passive investing is over. Be active. Educate yourself on monetary history and technology. Understand the difference between money and currency. Money is a store of value across generations. Currency is a medium of exchange here today. We have confused the two for the last 50 years. The reset will brutally separate them once again. Do not be the one holding only currency during the divorce. This is the lesson of John Law and the Weimar Republic. It is the lesson of Zimbabwe and of Argentina. The United States is not special. It is not immune. It is simply the latest actor in the old, tired play. The script calls for his exit in the third act. We are now in that third act. The curtain is falling, but a new stage is being built right next door. The show of human commerce and trade will continue. It will just use a better, sounder form of money. This is not a doomsday prophecy. It is a transition. It will be chaotic, but it is ultimately positive. It returns power to the individual, away from the center. It promises a more honest, transparent financial world, where value is earned, not printed into existence. This is the promise of the coming dollar reset. It is a pattern 500 years in the making. The signs are all here, hidden in plain sight. rampant money printing, soaring debt, and geopolitical shifts, the decline of empires, and the rise of new networks. The choice before you is which world you will inhabit. Will you choose the closed, controlled system of CBDCs or the open, permissionless network of hard money? Your decision will shape your financial destiny. Do not wait for the crisis to force your hand. Prepare now while the system still appears stable. Learn, acquire, secure. This is the mantra for the reset. Learn the history so you are not doomed to repeat it. Acquire sound money, both physical and digital. Secure your assets with unwavering personal responsibility. This is not just about finance, it is about philosophy. Do you believe in individual sovereignty or state control? Your answer dictates which monetary system you will use. The reset is inevitable. Your role in it is not. You can be a passive victim of the coming change, or you can be an active architect of your new future. The tools are here. The knowledge is available. There are no more excuses for willful ignorance. The 500-year pattern is clear for those who look. We stand at the precipice of the sixth great monetary shift. The air is thin, the view is terrifying, and it is glorious. Do not fear the change. Understand it and embrace it. Become a student of the cycle, not its victim. Tell others about the pattern. Share this knowledge. We are all living through this historic transition together. Our collective choices will define the next 500 years. Let us choose wisely, with courage and with foresight. Let us build a future on sound money and free individuals. A future where value cannot be inflated away by decree, where every person has access to the global economy. This is the promise of the Great Reset. Seize it. The cycle turns. The dollar's era is concluding. A new dawn of digital, sound money is rising. Do not mourn the old king. Prepare for the new. The warning signs are flashing. The pattern is clear. History's lesson is brutal for those who ignore it, but it rewards those who listen and who act. You now possess this knowledge. The burden is yours. What will you do with this information today? Will you be a spectator to your own financial fate, or will you take the first step towards sovereignty? The time for deliberation is over. The time for action is now. The coming dollar reset is a pattern 500 years in the making. Subscribe for more hidden patterns the world keeps ignoring.